Jamil, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, I'm happy to have this conversation with you, even though it's Sunday for us. And thank you so much for taking your time today to join my hot seat session, where we help companies all over the world address their blind spots and gain competitive edge with the help of our wonderful expert community. So, before diving deep and exploring AI, I'd like to learn more about you and who you are.
Sure. Well, thank you for your time. I am an old-time veteran with an engineer by training with over 23 years of experience working for sovereign wealth funds in the past and tech companies. I'm a techie by heart. So actually, I started with computer visioning back in the day when I was an electrical engineer. And I'm excited to always contribute to the greater good of the community to tackle a small but big topic, which is artificial intelligence and the lifestyle that we are in today.
Yes, absolutely. So, before diving deep, I would like to learn what is exactly AI and maybe some fundamental concepts you can tell us about.
Sure. So today, AI is, as we know, the artificial intelligence. And it comes in several, I would say, buzzwords or marketing gimmicks, which is a narrow AI, a Gen AI, and now the new word, which is ASI, which is artificial super intelligence. We keep inventing these words. So let's start with the basics. The reason we are today from the human evolution, the purpose of humans is to make their life easier and better and more efficient. The invention of AI is one of the greatest inventions, I would say, that we have bestowed upon since inventing fires, wheel, and the internet. That's my humble opinion. With intelligence, if we want to think about it, let's think of the human intelligence. We need sensors, which is things that you touch, smell, and see. We need a transportation system, which is your veins and your neurons to connect into your brain so you can make the best out of things. So basically, you see something, it sends a signal to your brain, and then your brain digests it and analyzes it and tells you, for example, this is a human, this is an animal, this is a tree. Same thing with artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence, the narrow AI is only capable of doing certain tasks that are minimal, one or two tasks that are very focused, and usually it's automation. The general AI is basically able to perform multiple tasks, may or may not get into a human intelligence. I will keep this until the end of the session, maybe. And eventually, the ASI, or the artificial super intelligence, I think it's a nice new marketing gimmick, which definitely we will reach someday with most people like to think about it as reaching singularity. But in the session, we'll talk probably more about what makes sense and what doesn't, and how can people live with AI.
Absolutely. As you started saying, sometimes it feels like it's a gimmick or if, like just a buzzword. But to me, it seems like whether you're a construction engineer or a talk show host like me, it feels like everyone is trying to use AI even when they're not sure what it is exactly. So I'd like to ask you, what exactly do you think AI will impact, and on the other hand, won't impact maybe industries, people, anything?
Sure. Well, the cool part now is when startups are raising funds, as soon as they have the word now, they figured as soon as they have the word AI, they're going to get 50% increase in funds. I don't remember a few, anyways, I sat a while back on a session, 2 hour session, and I think the word AI was mentioned like 80 or 90 times in these 2 hours, every other word. And it is true, they get more funds. although they are not doing anything with AI, but just using it. But AI is actually, it's an algorithm. There is a machine learning algorithm. There's a decision tree, neural networks, deep learning, natural language models, and now we are talking about large language models, which are LLMs, reinforcement learning, data analytics, supervised and unsupervised machine learning. These are all fall under the umbrella. They are different algorithms and different mathematical methodologies that makes AI work. Now, what does this mean to us? Today, AI will impact and have a positive impact on things such as the healthcare industry, where you can utilize narrow AI and it can look at your prescriptions, analyze very quickly, and gives me the best options for my body based on the results. It can go into hundreds and thousands of X-rays or MRIs that a human may have done throughout their lifetime and figure out how to prevent or predict the next disease and prevent it. These are today within narrow AI, so within the medical field. However, AI cannot provide empathy. When I'm hurt and I need that human care interaction, cannot replace a nurse or a doctor that really wants to know how I feel and to find the best solution. AI also is faulty. It is learning as we speak. It is an infant that's becoming a teenager that eventually will become an adult, just like we go through in life. It cannot go through the construction workers and build a building or become a plumber today, but it can certainly automate certain tasks in financial sector, in audits, in chatbots. It can provide customer service, but it can certainly not absorb the angry customer when they say, I don't want to speak to a machine, I want to speak to a human. Again, empathy. So these are the jobs that it may replace and the others that it may not. Any job that has creativity or human factor or human interaction will not be replaced. Any job that is mundane or that has automation, it will have an AI replacement.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
As I heard from someone, AI should be an enabler, not a replacer. And I absolutely loved this saying. So I would like to ask you, from what you're telling me, it seems like AI is actually going to impact a lot of industries. But I'd like to dive deeper and ask you, how is this affecting industries and societies on a global scale? And in our case, is this any different on how it's impacting Middle East?
great question. So I want to go back to my first example and connect the dots a bit and explain about the industry. So when we talked about the brain, the sensors, AI today needs data, which are getting from sensors. So data points need to be gathered. Where do they need to be gathered? They need to be gathered in data centers. These data centers will run lots of resources. We will use renewable and traditional energy, coal, oil, air, water, solar. We will consume these resources. As AI is generating this data and analyzing this data through the algorithms, we need extremely fast networks. We need to be connected. This is what people call smart cities. I like to call them as smart islands because these cities are not connected today. There are more than 400 protocols And these protocols don't speak to each other. So AI needs to speak the language of each protocol. They need to connect to each other. So the healthcare industry does things completely different than the manufacturing industry and different than the technology or the financial sector industry. And these need to connect together. And when you talk about the global scale from the macro level, there is a challenge within job dynamics. Now we have, COP28 is coming up, and with all the talk about climate change, how much of these data centers going to consume the resources for actual humans to drink water instead of cooling the machines, creating this edge computing and quantum computing eventually that is trying to take off, will need to be utilizing all these machines and all these resources to cool these things down. Now, of course, where it will impact your job, my job, from doing the day-to-day activity. It will impact the healthcare again. It will impact agriculture. It will impact education, transport. We have seen that, looking at the anomalies within aviation sector or transportation sector, autonomous driving. These are all, by the way, looking at narrow AI, but it will expand. Now, in the Middle East, today, most of the investments are being really led by governments. And this is great initiative because the government's really being the forefront in the world. I think in the UAE, for example, they have been in the foresight to announce an AI minister. That was a few years back. And then they were one of the top five countries to have an AI strategy. In Saudi Arabia, there has been announced NEOM, and NEOM will have a whole bunch of, very technologically advanced and AI and, automated systems. So I think it will be a smart city on its own. That being said, all these initiatives are being led by the government. There are infrastructure investments, there are upgrades and changes, and really talent is coming to the Middle East due to the governments owning that. And this is a great thing.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you.
I love it's all of these sounds super exciting, but let's turn to the dark side just for 2 minutes and tell me what are some potential challenges, that we might face because, we're so quickly and it's everywhere. The adoption of AI is everywhere. What are some challenges we might face?
A lot. So that being said, while we have more connectivity in the world, AI is not fully connected. So therefore, it will not reach that superhuman capability that we are looking for. Because there will be sporadic connectivity, there will be issues in the data. So garbage in, garbage out, good data in, good data out. That's what I'd like to call it. So the quality of data is an issue. Connectivity is an issue. But what's a bigger issue is the possibility of really the social impact. Our job as humans, responsible humans, to invest in responsible AI that is ethical. We need to make sure that this AI has rules and regulations, just like we treat our kids and we teach our kids what is the right, what is wrong. AI should have a right and wrong. There should be a greater authority. So I think it is key to have really a governance model within the world to govern AI properly and the development of AI and what makes sense. Also, with the connection of internet, there's a huge risk. My data is out there, and hackers are becoming better and better, although the security is becoming better and better, and cybersecurity is becoming better and better, but hackers are becoming also more advanced. So my data is vulnerable, and I don't know who has access to what and what AI is doing with my data in the first place, and how it will use it against me eventually. That is my challenge. Also for our kids that are on the devices all the time. How is AI going and learning, their behaviors and these are concerns for me as a parent. And ultimately today, is AI empathetic? The answer is no. AI will just apply rules depending on it learning and generating its own rules, or if it's unsupervised, or if it's supervised, whatever the person, uh, you know, programs it. And that being said, we are different cultures with different understanding. The right and wrong, although it's clear, but it is multiple shades of gray, where whatever is okay in my society is not okay in yours, and vice versa is true. And if I am managing the AI versus you're managing the AI, we're going to have a discrepancy. So that is the part that scares me. We have to have a universal standard governance model for AI.
Thank you. So, well, actually, let me also ask you probably the most topical question of 2023. Should we actually be scared of the AI, or should we not?
Um, I think in life, each invention has a double edged sword. We use the knife to cut our food, to remove a tumor, and to hurt someone. All these three things is using a sharp object in the same way, but the human chooses to choose it for good or for bad. Same thing with AI. I think AI can be a source of good when we use it for technological advancements, for technology, for agriculture, to have more food and food security, to analyze the human's behavior and in investments and in retail, to customize their user experience, in healthcare, to figure out antidotes and vaccines and medicine faster. But also, it will challenge us. Humans, they were not always the strongest. If you look at the lion, is the stronger, is stronger. If you look at the dinosaurs, they're stronger, but they're extinct. Humans are survivors, and the only humans that are resilient and adaptive will are the ones that will, be able to survive. So yes, we will lose some jobs. I think it's estimated. McKinsey said it's estimated to lose between 400 to 800 million jobs by 2030, while the World Economic Forum has estimated that we will lose about 70 million jobs by 2025, but we will gain 133 million jobs, which is net gain positive, by 2025. And I'd like to go back to an example that I always love to use. Let's think when we were riding horses. We had farriers and saddlers. You either, will have a, you'll put the shoe on the horse, or you will make a saddle. When the fourth industrial revolution happened and cars became the new invention, and we don't ride horses as much anymore, but for leisure, these jobs have become less important. But the farrier that became adaptive to design the door for the car and the brakes, and the saddler that is, putting the upholstery for the steering wheel and the interior of the car, they adapted and they became more needed. Now, new jobs also emerged that we didn't think about. A mechanic. If you would have, in the 1800s or 1700s said, I'm a mechanic, you'll be out of a job. I mean, people don't know what this is. Or changing the oils, or an electrician for the car. So new jobs emerged. And same thing with AI. Some jobs will be less important and new jobs will be emerged.
Thank you.
So
Actually, this
yes,
is a great answer. It's the
thank
answer
you.
that
Thank you.
actually put me at peace. Thank you so much. So now, yeah, let's turn to the good side and let's help our audience understand what are some steps that they as individuals or as organizations can take to effectively adopt AI.
Learn, 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 and learn. AI is reading and learning every second, and they are connected. As we are as humans, we're social animals. So we like to learn from each other. We like to learn from books. We like to learn from experiences. And two brains are better than one, and three are better than two, and so forth. Same thing with AI. It learns, it connects, and the more it's connected, the more actually it becomes smarter. So I would say first, learn, be very resilient and adaptable, be creative and different, and don't underestimate the power of a human factor. AI will never replace jobs with empathy, jobs with human interaction, jobs with creativity. It will design the latest record, the most amazing record, based on an algorithm with concrete steps. It will create the nicest, I would say portrait, but it will never create another Mona Lisa that is appreciated or a Michelangelo sculpture based on creativity. It will not give the best speech. Today, I had to actually Google and use AI for our meeting. So it augmented my creativity and my knowledge. And I had to proofread some of the documents. So I think moving forward, humans have to learn, just like they have learned to turn a switch on and use the electricity and not talk about it anymore. AI is a new way of life. It is a complementary, not a replacement of the human life.
Thank you. Well, this is a great wrap up of our conversation. And I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed the insight and the pace with which you delivered the information. I greatly appreciate it. And if our audience enjoyed this conversation as well, I highly encourage you to check the caption and see how you can work with Jamil to help you adopt AI effectively. Again, Jamil, thank you so much for taking your time today on this Sunday evening. For you, Sunday still day for you.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Everyone
Have a
is
good one.
telling you good talk in comments, by the way, so thank you.
Very kind. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you for having me. Take care. Bye bye.
Goodbye.